I am on my personal survival world today, and I'm here to talk about a new piece of transport infrastructure I am setting up. So, for context, I created this world about 4 years ago now, and this is my base I've lived at. And to be honest, I don't really like how it looks. I kind of settled with this. I've only come back to this world recently, and I've decided I don't want to destroy this and I don't want to make a new world. Instead, I'm going to make a new base about 7,000 blocks in that direction, surrounded by a lovely mountain range. It'll be a big orb floating above the ocean. I think it's going to look great. However, there is an obvious problem here. I need to transport a lot of resources from this base to the new location. There's a few different ways I could do this. The obvious one is, load everything into shulker boxes and fly over with Elytra. However, flying over with Elytra takes about 5 minutes, and I might be doing a lot of different trips. I don't want to have to do a 5-minute trip every time I want to transport something. Alternative option would be a piston bolt, which is a very fast form of minecart network-ish. People are going to get annoyed at me already for saying that, I know, but it's close enough. And you could use that to transport items AFK. You build stuff up and then you get the items delivered to you automatically. However, building a piston bolt does take a lot of time, even with helper machines. What I want is a fast, compact transport system, which is faster than an Elytra. In fact, I want it to be instantaneous, and it shouldn't be too big to build, and it should be nice, extensible, and just cool. So this is where wireless teleportation machines come in. And yes, these are a real thing in survival Minecraft, and they're a bit niche, which is why I'd like to talk about them. So, a few years ago, a user by the name of 2no2name came up with a way to send redstone signals wirelessly in Java Minecraft. I won't go over the details of how it works. It's quite interesting how it works, but fundamentally it works by manipulating the states of items falling in the world. I'll link videos in the description detailing how wireless redstone works, because I'm not going to be doing a build guide of this. I'm just going to give you a link to some guides of wireless redstone itself. Now, so the first part is that you can send redstone signals wirelessly using this system. The other part is the teleportation machine. So, a few years ago, a feature was added where ender pearls could float in bubble columns. If you were then to close a trapdoor, that ender pearl would hit the trapdoor and break, teleporting you back to where the ender pearl is. This is called an ender pearl stasis chamber, and you can use it to teleport yourself. There's a little demonstration. I have, in that little box over there, an ender pearl stasis chamber. And I have, in my base, a button with a redstone line connecting to it. So if I press this button, I am teleported into the little box. And I put a pearl pack down, and I'm back. And it's ready to go again. That's very good for short distances, but over long distances, setting up that long a redstone wire is going to be very inconvenient. This is why I'm using wireless redstone, so I can send a signal an infinite distance, effectively, to my stasis chamber, and just instantly travel hundreds of thousands of blocks. So, as a little demonstration, just kill this zombie. Little demonstration, I have a wireless redstone transmitter here. If I press this button, I am teleported to this receiver. And just to prove that this is completely wireless, I'm just going to open to LAN and switch to spectator mode. And you'll see this machine is completely disconnected from the transmitter over here, as you can see, completely disconnected. This is completely wireless. Again, I will link to the videos in the description of how wireless redstone works. Now, there are a couple important points here. The first important one is that wireless redstone is typically considered to be more stable on multiplayer servers than single-player worlds. This is due to some technical reasons of how items are stored in memory and rendered in the world, and how this differs between single-player worlds and multiplayer worlds. What this means is that occasionally on a single-player world, a wireless redstone receiver can misfire. This will typically happen when it's loaded into the world. In my experience, I might be wrong about this, but in my experience, it will only send out one pulse when it misfires. Maybe one or two pulses, but most of the time just one pulse. So what I do is I have my transmitter set up to send out precisely 2 signals, separated by a little bit of time. And this machine will wait, when it receives the first signal, it will wait to receive the second signal. If it receives the second signal, it will fire and teleport me. If it doesn't receive the second signal within that certain time period, it will turn itself back off and will require a new set of 2 signals. So that's the first thing. I have this system of sending 2 signals to avoid any of the errors you would usually see with single-player wireless redstone. The second thing I want to mention is that this is not restricted to this one device and this one transmitter. These 5 repeaters here correspond to the frequency our receiver is tuned to. Any signal sent by a transmitter has to be tuned to this same frequency to be picked up by this receiver. With 5 repeaters like this has 4 to the 5 different combinations, which I think is 1028. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So 1028 different frequencies. So I could have 1028 different wireless teleporters. Another important fact is that ender pearls in stasis chambers, since I believe 1.21.2, now act as chunk loaders. So this entire machine will chunk load itself. So this machine could be hundreds of thousands of blocks away, and I could press the button on this transmitter, and because it's still loaded by the ender pearl, it would still pick up the signal and teleport me. So I can teleport hundreds of thousands of blocks, simply by having ender pearl in the stasis chamber. One final important point is that this transmitter has to be pointing in the same direction as this receiver. Specifically, these repeaters here have to be pointing in the same direction. So if I switch to survival mode and I point this way, I am pointing east. That receiver is also pointing east. So yeah, that's all the technical stuff aside. So once again, to kind of give a little demonstration. One signal, second signal, and I'm teleported. You'll notice this transmitter is quite close to this receiver. Again, that's not necessary for this thing to work. That was just for testing purposes, because if this machine was broken in any way, it's easier to diagnose it if I have the transmitter nearby. So typically, if you're building a receiver, build a transmitter nearby. This also seems practical, so it means if you teleport anywhere, you can teleport back. If you then set up multiple stations, you'll have to figure out different frequencies for different stations. I recommend writing down those frequencies in a book and quill and keeping that on you, or maybe in an ender chest. And so, like, I don't know, this base, for example, is 1, it's like 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1 on this redstone stuff. No specific reason for that, I'll probably change that, but that's what the frequency of this is at the moment. Again, videos on how wireless redstone works will be linked in the description. There'll be far better explanations than anything I've given here, to be honest. But yeah, I just want to put this out there. Wireless redstone is a very useful thing in survival Minecraft because it allows you to set up a fast, instant travel teleportation network. So yeah, I hope this has been of some use. I hope it hasn't been too rambly, and I hope you enjoyed. I'd say like and subscribe or something, but I mean, I'm not very active on here, but maybe I'll become more active, I don't know. Probably not, I'm busy. But thank you for watching regardless, and I hope you have a lovely day.